There are almost 200 Pictos in Clair Obscur. While not all of them are incredibly strong, I wanted to point out my personal top 10. I spent a lot of time collecting and unlocking their Lumina versions to bring you this list. And I just want to say at the start, I know some Pictos have incredible combos with others, but that's not what this video is. It's just 10 of the strongest Pictos in the game that hold out on their own. Now I won't have any story spoilers in this video, but I will leave a link to the wiki in the description so you can look up locations for any of these that you're missing. With that being said, let's start off at number 10. Starting off this list, we have Base Shield at number 10. This Picto gives you one shield at the start of your turn if you don't already have one. This is an incredible defensive tool that effectively gives you one free hit every single turn. If you're still learning an enemy's attack patterns or mess up a parry, this is your repeatable get out of jail free card. There are other Pictos out there that also synergize while you're having shields, so check those out if you're going to use this one. At number 9 we have the Augmented Counter. There are actually 3 Augmented Counter Pictos, but number 3 is going to be the strongest effect of them all. But really, if you're a parry master like me who can pull off counterattacks, you should be using all 3 together for some incredible damage. With all 3 equipped, you'll deal 150% counterattack damage every time you manage to pull off a counterattack. And it's like I always say, I'd rather die than use the dodge button. At number 8 we have the Double Mark Picto. This one requires 2 attacks to remove the marking effect. When you mark an enemy with this equipped, you'll see a blue X rather than a red X, indicating that it has 2 charges before going away. When an enemy is marked, it will take 50% more damage. So if you're about to swap to your team's heavy hitter, it's great to mark an enemy so they'll be set up to do the highest possible damage on their turn. Plus, marking effects usually require low AP to set up, so it's perfect before switching turns. At number 7 we have Energizing Turn. If you've played this game for more than an hour, you know that AP is the name of the game. And this Picto gives you 1 additional AP on each character's turn start. This is the first of many additional AP Pictos that get you headed towards getting rid of your starter abilities, and lets you spam the 7 or 9 cost skills every other turn. At our number 6 spot we have the Charging Critical Picto. This one grants you 20% additional gradient charge when you crit once each turn. Gradient abilities are something you'll earn about halfway through the main story, and they only get better as the game goes on. The Tier 2 and Tier 3 gradient attacks are some of the most powerful moves in this entire game, and they don't require AP to use. So charging up your Tier 3 attacks as fast as possible will make those extremely hard endgame fights just a little more manageable. As we get into the top 5 of this list, we start talking about some game warping abilities. I personally run all 5 of these for endgame content, and you should too. At number 5 we have the Painted Power Picto. Those who already have this one shouldn't be surprised. For the first 2 acts of this game you probably won't be hitting the damage cap too often. Maybe towards the later half of Act 2 you'll hit a couple damage caps here and then. But after that part of the story, this is absolutely critical, as some of these bosses have millions of health points and this turns an hour-long fight into something much more manageable. Coming in at number 4 we have the Second Chance Picto. This allows you to automatically revive at full HP once per battle per party member that has this equipped. This one is an absolute lifesaver for fighting a tough enemy or you mistime a parry. It saves your Chroma Flask charges, and more importantly you don't have to take a turn off to use the flask to bring a party member back to life. Cheater is one of those Pictos that doesn't feel fair when you first get it, but then you realize that a lot of bosses have this equipped too, or far, far worse. Playing twice in a row is obviously really strong. You can use your first turn to set up an 8 or 9 AP move on your following turn without having to wait, or using your first turn to use an item, and then the second turn to deal damage since you'll gain AP on both turn starts. At number 2, this is probably one of, if not the strongest defensive Pictos in the entire game. On the start of your turn, if you didn't take any damage on your previous turn, you go back to full health. If you're using shield Pictos, this becomes incredibly easy to stay at full HP. And let's be real, staying alive is obviously good, right? You can pair this with other Pictos and some weapons that synergize with full HP builds. And at number 1, my absolute favorite Picto in this entire game is Energy Master. Every single time you would gain AP, you gain an additional 1 on top of it. Turn start, 1 AP. Parrying, 1 AP. Any skills that grant AP, you'll get more on top of that. This Picto unlocks some crazy builds where you can get back to 9 AP almost every single turn. Like with Energizing Start, that's plus 2 AP, Energizing Turn's another 2 AP every time you parry, it just goes nuts. This one stays on no matter what. And that's my list for the top 10 Pictos in this entire game. Is there one on your list that I missed? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.